Hello, everyone. We're back for another round of connections. I'm feeling a little bit better. We had a good round yesterday. I don't know if I made up any ground, though, on some of my rivals, so that is yet to be determined. But today's another day, and you never know what they're going to throw at us. So let us hit the play button as we about to embark on Friday, August 18, 2023. Let me just double check. Is that correct? Yeah. Friday, August 18, 2023 version of Connections, I believe is correct. All right. Here we go. Oh, perfect. Screen looks amazing. Here we go, guys. Pint, sponge, gallon, rand, real, cup, coffee, quite, carat, one, very, quart, awful, super, pound, sterling. All right. Once again, you can kind of tell right off the bat what they're throwing at you. The key is just how to organize them. Sometimes it's a matter of what is the name of the category, and other times it's like, how do I organize the words into the categories? So, yeah. So I think what we've got in terms of categories is the following. The tricky part's going to be organizing them because I see a tremendous amount of overlap. Sterling and pound, I think we're going to have possibly some, not denominations, but currencies, okay? And I see another currency too here, which is pretty cool. I'll explain how I know it, okay? But I want to, before I explain that, I want to make sure that this is going to be organized properly. So I think we're going to have currencies. Now, I also can see some cakes, okay? That's pretty obvious. You've got the carrot cake, the coffee cake. You've got some pound cake, assuming that it's the sterling that we're looking at rather than the pound. You Brits, tell me, how does that work out? Are they equivalent? Do they call it the, I mean, is it the sterling pound, the pound sterling? Are they used interchangeably? I'm not really sure. We'll figure that out. And then we've got, yeah, I think I mentioned the sponge cake and then cupcake, okay? Then we've got, I guess you could call these like emphasizer words. We've got very, we've got super, we've got awful. Again, I don't think that this is going to fit in there, and I'll explain why. And by the way, I don't think it's going to be pronounced real, okay? I feel really good about this. I just hope I can organize and not screw up and make any errors. Like, I think I'm going to win this one, but I just don't want any errors. Yeah, quite, very, super, awful. I think those will be our emphasizers. And then we're going to have, last but not least, and I think this will be the easy one, we've got our, I guess you could call them measurements of volume. Okay, you've got your pint, you've got you've got your quart, you've got your gallon, and yeah, and then possibly the cup. Okay, so this is going to be extremely tricky. So we have everything labeled, right, guys? Now it's just a matter of how the hell are we going to organize them? All right, let's start off with the liquid or the volume measurements first. Okay. So you've got your quart, you've got your gallon. I'm pretty sure those are definitely there. I don't see those going anywhere else. I'm concerned about the cup because it could be cupcake, okay? But you could measure, things with a cup. Let's suppose we went with that for now. So pound, I think, is there to throw you off. But I don't think that would be correct because although it's a measurement, you don't measure, like, I don't know how they're going to label this, but they're like, fluid measurements or volume measurements, I think, is really the way to go. Maybe even liquid measurements, which you don't do with a pound. So quart, cup, gallon, and pint. Yeah. In fact, I think they go in exactly that order. I think the cup is the smallest, then you have a pint, then you have a gallon, then you have a quart. So I'm going to call these like measurements of volume. Pow! We're off to a good start. Now, I'm going to try something incredible today, guys. I know some of you don't think there's any value to this, but I think it's kind of cute. It's kind of gimmicky. I don't think we'll create an extra point off of this, but I'm going to see if I can get these in the exact difficulty because I thought that would be the easiest of them. Now, the thing is, okay, I know what's going to be the hardest. I think it's definitely going to be the currencies. I think it's going to be the currencies. But I guess the question is the next going to be the cakes or is it going to be the emphasizers? I think it'll be the emphasizers next. So I think we've got quite, very, super, and awful. Okay. So for instance, how do I want to do as an example? Pretty. She's quite pretty. She's very pretty. She's super pretty. She's awful pretty. I think that would be good. The awful sneaky, but that does count as a qualifier, right? Like, I mean, that was awful good or awfully good. I don't think it'll really matter. Because the awful is definitely, I mean, I never heard of an awful cake, and awful is not a unit of currency. So I think we're good. We'll call these emphatic words. Extremely. Okay, we'll definitely allow that. But guess what, guys? We are doing this in the correct difficulty order. This is very cool. Extremely. That's fine. I'm not so crazy about that. Like, if you say something's very nice, does that mean it's extremely nice? I think actually emphatic words would have been better. You know, they add emphasis, but that's okay. We're not here to judge the quality of their titles for each category, are we? We're definitely going to do pound next, and I think we have this set up perfectly. No, I'm not going to put pound, or sorry, I mean, not pound, but cake. We're definitely not going to put, we are going to put pound in there, okay? Because I can see that that has to go there because you'll have pound, coffee cake, carrot cake, and sponge cake, right? You don't have a rand cake, a wand cake, a real cake, or a sterling cake. So these are going to be cakes. Awesome. Okay, perfect. And now here we go, guys. This is obviously going to be currency because sterling has to go there. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm not 100% sure about rand, and I think that would be pronounced won. I'll make an educated guess what countries those belong to, but believe it or not, here's why I know this one, and it's pronounced the real. Because the town that I live in Massachusetts, okay, I don't live in Boston per se, I live on the outskirts, is directly next to a town called Framingham, and it has a massive, massive population of Brazilians, okay? And it's super cool because there's a lot of Brazilian restaurants, and man, let me just tell you something, Brazilian food is amazing. In any case, whenever I'm driving through downtown Framingham, there are a ton of like currency exchange agencies in both English and in Portuguese. They'll say, hey, you know, you can change your exchange your reals or your dollars here. So that's how I happen to know that, and I kind of didn't make the immediate connection, but when I saw sterling, I was like, yeah, that's got to be it. Very sneaky. So this is obviously not going to be won, I don't think. I think it's the won. It looks sort of like an Asian currency. Now, we know that, oh, goodness. So the yen, of course, is the Japanese currency. I don't think that would be, I'm not sure what Chinese currency is. I feel terrible about that. That's really dumb of me. I'm going to make a guess that it could be something like, it looks like a Korean word, so we'll guess maybe South Korean currency. Rand, forget it. I have no idea. I mean, it looks sort of like a, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, it looks kind of like a word that would be used in an English-speaking currency or English-speaking country. I don't want to say Australia. I don't think it'll be New Zealand. What else? Obviously not the US. It's not Canada because they use the Canadian dollar. I don't know. I mean, it could be something like, what's left? I mean, South Africa wouldn't be a bad guess. Okay. I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to announce that anyway, but you guys can let me know. I'm going to maybe guess it could be something like, South African currency, but I mean, I could be completely wrong. Okay. It could also be kind of like a Scandinavian country. Who knows? Okay. So we're going to go with currencies. Absolutely crushed it today. Oh, darn it, though. I made one mistake. Oh, shoot. They had cake last. Now, that's so funny, guys, because remember yesterday I said that it seems like they reserve those blank, I guess we could call them the hidden word category. Yeah, that's a good one. The hidden word category. They tend to save those for last. But I mean, even if I had remembered my own little strategy, I felt like world currencies was the hardest, but they made that the third hardest. Okay. So sadly, I failed, guys, to get them in the correct order, but everything else was perfect. You have to admit. How are people going to do today? I think they're going to do fine. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make up any ground on anybody. I know the world currencies is going to be tricky, but the cake is easy. I mean, I don't know why that was purple. I mean, you guys are too smart. You'll see that immediately. Probably the only tricky part is going to be to figure out how the hell you're going to deal with the pound, because that could overlap into the volume. It's not a unit of volume, but people might get confused about that. It's definitely the pound cake, and it could definitely be the world currency, unless I'm mistaken. So again, our beloved and dear friends from the United Kingdom, please tell me, how do you guys label your currency? Is pound and sterling synonymous, or is it called the pound sterling or the sterling pound? I'm not really sure. Okay. So there you have it, guys. That was absolutely perfect. I'm really psyched about that. And yeah, I just don't know if that's going to allow me to make up any ground. That's the only problem. But I do think, sadly, there will be, a few fails. Okay. All right, guys. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the results. All right, guys. What's up? We're going to announce the leaderboard players. Okay. And taking us all the way up to time periods, which I think is our, let me think. Yeah, it's our 16th word. Okay. 16th word. No, this is not Wordle. 16th yellow category to keep track of the connections that we do. Oranje 28 has a 79, and I'm also keeping track of the places for people to further motivate. He is clearly in first place. Next, we have the illustrious and the esteemed Martin Steed with a total score of 75. He is in second place. Zep Girl 5, she is at a 71. Third place. It's kind of funny. These are just, guys, it seems like if you're good at one thing, you're good at another. These were always the top players in Wordle during Art's tournaments back in the early part of 2023. And look at this. They're also the top players in Connections as well. Jason is in fourth place, as well as Salad Von Baco. They're tied for fourth, both with an even score of 68. Brandon Baker is at a 67 with fifth place, tied with the 12-year-old kid named Cablewire. Oh, man. I should say tied with the 12-year-old precocious kid named Cablewire. I don't think I was like 10% as smart as this kid when I was 12. In fact, I was a complete idiot, to be quite frank. Okay, I completely sucked in middle school. But Cablewire seems like he's got a very bright future ahead of him, and he's in fifth place. Rise to the equation. That would be me. Thankfully, despite my horrible 0, it didn't really sink me too badly. I'll take sixth place. Thank you very much. Okay. And then we've got, look at that. Ellen Sassani and Pat Markland nipping at my heels. However, I've got a fairly comfortable 4-point gap. I just can't get any more zeros. So yeah, they're in seventh place with some 62s. Melanie Lee, she has a 61. She's in eighth place. Congratulations. Edward Collins and Michelle Lamb are in ninth place with scores of 60. And finally, 10th place. I'll keep reading, but, 10th place is where you'd like to be at the end of the month in the top 10. And that would be Viking 67. Next, we'll keep going. 11th place would be Randy M. And then in 12th place, we've got Geraldo. 13th is D-Bone Capone. And let me move this up so that we can see some more results. And that looks perfect. Okay. Let's just, I guess we'll get it all the way to the bottom. There we go. Okay. So we have Dora A. And I'm very confident that if she can just continue to pick up some of those nice 5s, she could find herself in the top 10. She's got a 14th place with a 51. Cheryl Fessenden with a 50 in 15th place. Ascension with a 49 in 16th place. T. Clark, 46 points, 17th place. Joe, 41 points total and doing really good recently with those nice 5s. 18th place. Let's see. And then we've got Advanced 495 with a total score of 40 in 19th place. G3 Holiday, 39 points, 20th place. We've got GeoHuman, 36 with a 21st place. BMS Houston, 22nd place. Forshaken, 23rd. Connor Clark, 24th. And the only others that have been playing would be Mata Muertes. He's in 27th place. And Apt Guy is currently 30th. Okay. And I guess, yeah, that'll improve because I'll have to sadly remove some players who just haven't played. Okay. So there you have it, guys. And we still have, what, like another 2 weeks to go. Yeah. We still have another 2 weeks to go. So anything can happen. Anything can happen in terms of the results for like the top 10. I think there could still be some interesting shakeups. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This Connections game, man, it is really, really good. It's really good, isn't it? Because you just, you never quite know what they're going to throw at you. I think the same is true with Wordle. Obviously, you don't know what they're going to throw at you. But I'm sorry. I mean, it's cute and everything. But yeah, it for me, it just lost its appeal. It lost its appeal, and it was just too much for me, guys, to run both a connections tournament and a Wordle tournament. And I could only possibly consider investing the time to running both if like the channel was just going like bonkers. Do you know what I mean? But we're sort of flattening out, and that's totally okay. It's better to have, what's the expression? Better to have a few amazing friends than to have a million acquaintances, right? So I definitely consider you guys my best friends. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. And of course, I look forward to seeing you for tomorrow's next round of Connections.